Part of the long-term investment that comes from being a fan of combat sports, and specifically in this case mixed martial arts, is brought to us through the long and drawn-out road that these fighters have to walk in order to make good on whatever potential we might hold for them. If you catch an unbeaten prospect scoring a viral knockout early in their career, chances are you'll have to wait for years upon years before seeing whether they can actually reach the pinnacle of the sport, and ultimately prove themselves to be as great as the clip that you initially viewed would have suggested. And that time we spend with them, and the huge gaps between each bout, that is the thing that elevates the stakes time and time again, as well as the thing that builds our relationship with them as they make what is in essence a very slow ascent. And though seeing a prospect who looks all but certain to be a world champion succeed is amazing in its own way, UFC 267's main event will play host to a pair of fighters who have managed to completely subvert our expectations time and time again to eventually stand on a level that is above all others within their division. Glover Teixeira was once a highly touted but unproven prospect in his own right, a fighter who entered the UFC with a stellar 17-2 record, before delivering on all of his promise to earn himself a title shot with 5 straight victories, 4 of them coming by way of stoppage. But of course, after coming up short against John Jones in 2014, Teixeira was sent to the back of the queue, enjoying a mixed bag of results over the next 4 years, as he edged ever closer to his 40th birthday. And as fans of the sport, we kind of know how these things generally play out, where 99% of the time, a fighter will rise to challenge for the belt, suffer a defeat before meandering around with middling success, eventually aging and fading into obscurity. But I think if one thing has been made crystal clear to us in the last 2 years, it's that Glover Teixeira is well and truly a member of that 1% who somehow manages to upset the odds. And now, with him literally days away from his 42nd birthday, Teixeira has managed to compile an identical record in this most recent run at the title, once again going 5-0 with 4 finishes, to establish himself for the second time as the rightful challenger to the light heavyweight throne. Make no mistake, ladies and gentlemen, that is very odd. That is very, very odd indeed. Not just because of his age and the manner in which he's been able to adapt his game with success in recent times, but because he's coming into this matchup with every chance to pull it off, where those in the know are actually pegging him as an interesting challenge for the man who has the belt around his waist. As much as I think Jan Błachowicz is one of the most underrated fighters of his era, it goes without saying that the same is true for Teixeira. The man is as dangerous a light heavyweight as we've seen in some time. The holder of the UFC record for most submissions and most finishes in 205-pound history. He's beaten guys like Anthony Smith, Ryan Bader, Rampage Jackson, Rashad Evans, Jared Cannonier, and Thiago Santos, and over the years has displayed a level of well-roundedness that kind of puts his late career surge into perspective. He's got power in both hands, an excellent wrestling game, and submissions from a range of positions. If he does get tagged and dropped, he's got a proven record of fighting through adversity. And though I'd argue that Błachowicz is as tough a matchup as he's faced in years, if we're looking purely at routes to victory here, Glover actually ticks a surprising amount of boxes. And I think this matchup is being overlooked by some because of just how familiar we are with these two guys. On a side note, if you're enjoying this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with all of our latest uploads, before leaving a comment to let YouTube's algorithms know that we're fast becoming one of the best MMA channels on the platform. Even now, I think people are guilty of sleeping on Błachowicz, failing to identify him as the truly excellent technical specimen he is. And in a matchup against this perennial contender, I have gotten the sense that some people are dismissing this fight's status as a truly significant one within the context of the division's history. But from where I'm standing, these are two fighters who have truly fought to be where they are today, and to a greater extent than most. And though again, we all love watching a young prospect rise from the ranks, answering the various questions that are asked of them, giving us more and more of a glimpse into the unknowns that surround them, I do think that there's something equally thrilling about a story like Glover Teixeira's, and how he has managed to carve out this type of success, a run of form that will lead him to a fighter like Jan, someone who has also been written off to some extent in recent times. When you look at the 205-pound division right now, these are the two best and most deserving guys at this point in time, and I think part of this matchup's charm comes from the fact that there aren't actually many unknowns left with either guy. We know what Błachowicz and Teixeira will bring with them to the cage on Saturday night. And from an outsider's perspective, I actually enjoy the fact that neither man is being written off here, a position they have found themselves in far too frequently in recent years. This isn't the Adesanya story, or the rise of Dominic Reyes. It's not the 205-pound debut of Luke Rockhold, or the resurgence of Anthony Smith. No, this is the Jan Błachowicz and Glover Teixeira show, and I think that the winner here will finally be given a lot of credit for their victory, no matter which way it goes. Błachowicz because of the stability this victory would give him as champion of the light heavyweights, and Teixeira because of just how unlikely a story this would have been if you had predicted it maybe 3 years ago. This is a high-level matchup, folks, one of a surprising level of significance. These guys are both very polished fighters, something they've both proven in recent times by their consistent ability to swat away the various contenders who would have been seen as the new blood within the division. Again, they repeatedly found themselves on the opposing side of the narrative that would make more sense within our understanding of how this sport should work. But the fact that they are both here, both fighting for the top prize in the division, I'm just trying to make sure that I appreciate the significance of that before this matchup is in the history books. But what do you make of the UFC 267 Light Heavyweight Championship main event? Will it be the veteran savvy and well-roundedness of the challenger Teixeira, or will the hugely underrated champion once again prove why he is the best active light heavyweight fighter on the planet? It was a slow burn, but I'm definitely excited to find out. Do let us know your opinions in the comment section below. We always love to hear from you guys. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and a comment before subscribing to the channel so you can stay up to date with all of our latest uploads. Thank you for watching.